your principle may well have looked something like this. If action A results in the deaths of X number of people, and action B results in the deaths of greater than X number of people, and these are the only two things you can do, then all else equal, do A, perform the action that results in the deaths of fewer people. Of course, we do need this all else equal clause because things get a bit complicated if we imagine that some of the people, let's say, are very young and have a high life expectancy, while others have a very low life expectancy. Some people might be age 10 and other people might be age 95. Also, things get complicated if we imagine that one person, let's say, is on the verge of finding a cure for COVID-19. But none of those complications apply in this case, the case of the Batmobile or similar cases, because we can always stipulate that the people are exactly the same age, have the same life expectancy, are all equally happy, make the same contributions to society, and so forth. Okay, so that principle can seem, at first glance, pretty plausible. Is it? At a second glance, the principle doesn't seem so plausible. So here are 5 people. They all need life-saving operations. We may abstract away from various medical complications that would arise in a real-life example. One person needs a heart, another person needs a liver, the third person needs lungs, and the last 2 need a kidney each. If they don't get those, they're going to die. Here is our old friend, Mr. Jones, the guy who didn't get the job. Maybe he's in for a particularly unlucky day because he is perfectly healthy. He has a healthy liver, a healthy heart, a healthy pair of lungs, and 2 kidneys in excellent working order. If we kill Mr. Jones and cut him up, we can use his organs to save these 5 people. Well, should you cut up Jones to save the 5? Please press K and consider your answer. Got it? Well, of course you shouldn't cut up poor Jones. What are you, some kind of moral monster? But of course, if you shouldn't cut up Jones, but you should pull the lever, or at least if it's permissible for you to pull the lever, that initial moral principle is wrong. So if it's permissible to pull the lever in the first case, but impermissible to cut up Jones in the second case, why is that? The 2 cases, after all, do seem similar. In both you cause the death of 1 to save 5. Exercise, very difficult. Try to find another moral principle or rule, this time one that treats the cases differently. Finally, let's turn to Singer's paper. I'll say more about this on Wednesday, but for now, let's look at the main example. I'm on my way to an important business meeting. If I don't make it in time to sign the contract, I will lose $3,373. I'm not well off, and this is money I can ill afford to lose. But if I do lose it, I won't starve. I'll just be deprived of a few of life's little luxuries. On my way, I see a child drowning in a pond. If I stop to help her, I will miss the meeting, and so lose that money. If, on the other hand, I don't stop to help her, She will drown, but I'll get my $3,373. What should I do? Surely that was a no-brainer. I should jump in and save the child. Now consider a different case. You are idly surfing the web one day and you come across the page of this fine organization, the Malaria Consortium, bringing positive change to millions of people, especially children, by improving prevention, diagnosis and treatment for malaria and other tropical diseases. You go to GiveWell, an organization which assesses charities, very highly regarded, and you notice that for the Malaria Consortium, the estimate of a cost per life saved is $3,373. It's going to cost you $3,373 to save a child's life. This, of course, looks very, very similar to the pond case. The problem is, though, that while in the pond case, surely I am morally obliged to forego more than $3,000 in order to save the child's life, in this case, we ordinarily think that it's morally optional whether you fork out $3,373 to the Malaria Consortium to save a child's life. Of course, it would be very nice of you if you did that, morally very praiseworthy. You'd be a fine person, an extremely generous person, for giving away so much money. We may assume that you're not particularly well off, but it's not morally obligatory. You don't have to do it. You wouldn't be doing anything wrong if you didn't do it. So, is there a difference between the pond case and the Malaria Consortium case? What should you do in that second case? More of this on Wednesday, when we'll continue talking about the singer as well as discussing the paper by Nora O'Neill, which is something of a reply to Singer's argument. And finally, let me emphasize that no one was actually harmed during the making of these videos. Mr. Jones was not cut up, he's fine. He didn't get the job though. And the girl is a trained swimmer and was never in any danger. Also, no one was killed by the Batmobile. See you on Wednesday.